Washington state laws and rules. All commercial drivers are required to know the state laws limiting the size and weight of vehicles and loads. You must stop at open weigh stations for weighing and inspection. Washington State Patrol or WSP troopers, commercial vehicle enforcement officers or CVEO, and local law enforcement officers all have the authority to stop drivers on the road to conduct inspections. Violations for being oversized or overweight, for operating defective equipment, or for lacking the proper licenses and permits can result in citations and fines. If you ignore open weigh stations, you may be cited and fined. Length. Maximum legal length for school buses and other single motor vehicles, except certain municipal transport buses, is 40 feet. For auto stages is 46 feet and include front and rear bumpers. For a single vehicle or trailer and a combination, with or without load, is 53 feet. For double trailer combinations, can't exceed a total of 61 feet for the combined length of the trailers. For truck and trailer combinations or log truck and stinger steered pole trailers with or without load, cannot exceed an overall length of 75 feet. The above limitations does not apply to vehicles transporting poles, pipes, and machinery, vehicles transporting structural objects that cannot be taken apart, vehicles operated by a public utility when making emergency repairs of public services or properties. Loads may not extend more than 15 feet behind the center of the last axle, or more than 3 feet beyond the front bumper. Any load extending beyond the sides of more than 4 feet beyond the rear of the vehicle must have the extending portion marked by either 12-inch red flags or with red lights. If visibility is poor, red lamps and reflectors are required. When you haul objects such as poles or logs, you must place a red light at the most extended point of the load. This light must be a combination light visible from the back and both sides. Width. No vehicle with or without its load may be more than 8.5 or 102 inches wide. Rear view mirrors may extend no more than 5 inches beyond the extreme limits of the body. All other equipment, including all safety equipment and parts such as door handles, door hinges, mud flaps, fender extensions, and turn signal brackets, may reach no more than 3 inches beyond the extreme limits of the body. Height. No vehicle, including its load, may be more than 14 feet high. This limit does not apply to emergency vehicles or utility repair equipment. Even though you know the height of your vehicle or load, always make sure there is enough clearance, especially when driving in unfamiliar areas or in bad weather. When you are approaching a tunnel or an overpass on a new route and there is no clearance sign visible, safely pull off to the road and check the clearance height. Ice, snow, or road repairs may reduce the clearance that is normally enough to pass beneath. Weight. The allowable gross weight of a bus or truck depends on tire size, the number of axles, and the spacing of axles or axle groups. No vehicle may operate on public highways with a gross weight, including load, that is more than 600 pounds per inch of tire width concentrated on one tire. For example, a tire size 10-22 is 10 inches wide and may carry 6,000 pounds. Axles carrying more than 10,000 and equipped with single tires is limited to 500 pounds per inch of width. For examples, contact WSP Commercial Vehicle Enforcement. Maximum weight for commercial vehicles in Washington are 20,000 pounds on any single axle, depending on tire size, 34,000 pounds on tandem axles spaced less than 7 feet apart, 40,000 pounds for any single unit vehicle supported by 3 or more axles, and 80,000 pounds for any combination of vehicles. Permits. The Department of Transportation may approve and issue permits to allow oversized and overweight vehicles, other than school buses, to operate on state highways. Contact the proper county or city official for oversized and overweight permits on county roads or city streets. To get a special permit, you must show that the only practical means of transporting certain cargo is by motor vehicle. The vehicle and load are properly licensed. The load cannot reasonably be taken apart. Before a permit is issued, the application will be reviewed to assess any possible disruption to traffic flows, threat to public safety, damage to the highway system. If the application is approved, you'll need to pay a fee based on the length of the permit period, and for overweight vehicles, the amount of weight that is over the legal maximum. For information on special permits, you may request a publication overweight, oversized vehicle permits from any Washington State Department of Transportation office. Tire chains. All vehicles or combinations of vehicles must carry enough tire chains while operating in any mountain pass or in any chain-approved traction device control area designated by either Washington State Department of Transportation or the Washington State Patrol. Chains must be carried on all vehicles over 10,000 pounds. GVWR from November 1 to April 1. Of each year or other times that chains are required for such vehicles. Speed limits. Unless otherwise posted, the maximum allowable speed for trucks or buses is 60 miles per hour on interstate and Washington highways, 70 miles for auto stages, 50 miles per hour on county roads, 25 on city and town. Posted signs showing lower limits must be obeyed. Right lane rule. When you are driving a heavy vehicle or combination, travel in the right lane except when preparing to turn left or when passing another vehicle. Left lane rule. No vehicle or combination over 10,000 pounds may be driven on the left-hand lane of a limited access roadway having 3 or more lanes for traffic moving in one direction except when preparing for a left turn at an intersection, exit or onto a private road or driveway when the left turn is legally allowed. Slow vehicle rule. If you are driving a slow-moving vehicle on a 2-lane highway and 5 or more vehicles behind you are delayed and unable to pass, you must pull off the roadway and at first safe and available turnout. A turnout may be an extended shoulder where you can keep your present speed, or a small area off the roadway where you can stop before returning to the roadway. Don't try to pass more than one vehicle at a time when you are driving on a 2-lane highway. When you are traveling with another truck or bus in a convoy, leave enough space between vehicles in the convoy for others to pull back into the lane safely. Hours of service. All commercial drivers of private or common carriers within the state of Washington and all interstate commercial drivers must obey laws and regulation governing maximum driving and on-duty time. Hours of service rules for property carrying drivers are: you may drive a maximum of 11 hours after 10 consecutive hours off duty. You cannot drive beyond the 14th hour after coming on duty, following 10 consecutive hours off duty. You must not drive after 60 hours on duty and 7 consecutive days. You must not drive after 70 hours on duty and 8 consecutive days. A driver may restart a 7 or 8 consecutive day period after taking 34 or more consecutive hours off duty. Commercial drivers using the sleeper berth provision must take at least 8 consecutive hours in the sleeper berth, plus 2 consecutive hours either in the sleeping berth, off duty, or in any combination of both. Hours of service rules for passenger carrying drivers are: you must not drive more than 10 hours following 8 consecutive hours off duty. You must not drive for any period after having been on duty for 15 hours following 8 consecutive hours off duty. You must not drive after having been on duty 60 hours in any 7 consecutive days. You must not drive after having been on duty 70 hours in any 8 consecutive days. It is your responsibility to record in duplicate every 24-hour period of duty status in a driver's logbook. Keep a copy of each record of duty status for the previous 7 consecutive days. This record must be in your possession and must be available for inspection while on duty. Logbooks are subject to inspection by law enforcement officials. If you have any questions about hours of service, there are places to contact. The Washington Administrative Code for Private Carriers covers the exceptions to these limitations. Accident reporting. If your vehicle is involved in a collision, stop immediately. If anyone is hurt, needs or requests aid, help them. Exchange information with everyone involved in the collision. If the collision causes injury to anyone or the damage amounts to $700 or more, file a state vehicle collision report within 4 days with the municipal police, the local sheriff, or the Washington State Patrol.